Confessional. I'm Angela.
I'm Christine.
And we're so glad you're here with us. We have a guest, Miss Lacey G.
Hi.
Miss Lacey G is from the podcast
13, a Taylor Swift fan podcast, which
Yes.
is a mouthful, but 13 because that's Taylor Swift's favorite number, and then a Taylor Swift fan podcast because very big fan podcast.
Oh, yeah.
So,
I can't believe that she has so much, so many Easter eggs in each and every song that she has.
she is really brilliant. She is a good mastermind. She's really good at knowing how to market herself, and she's so genius with everything that she does. What's weird for me, I listen to like hardcore music. Like I listen to stuff that you would be ashamed to know that I listen to, like really bad metal music and stuff. And then Taylor
like
Swift,
some of that.
but she's such a lyrical genius. I did not know that she said hucksters. I knew she wasn't saying lobsters, but every time I hear lobsters and smooth talking lobsters, yeah, and I hear that every time, and I'm like, I hear you, Taylor. I hear you. So it's a misheard lyric, but it still makes my heart flutter. Yeah, every time.
Lobster.
The way that she writes and she does everything so intentional, and she makes her fans care.
Right.
And that's the really big difference. So early on, I've had this podcast for 2 years now. And early on in the pandemic, people were throwing all these Taylor Swift dance parties and songs, and it'd basically be a concert without Taylor Swift. Yeah. And at the time, I was thinking, like, how rude. You're just riding on Taylor Swift's coattails. And then I was like, wait a minute, I'm doing the same thing.
Right.
So no judgment. So it's easy. I had a podcast for 6 years that wasn't Taylor Swift. Spoiler alert, nobody cared. Nobody cared at all. It was a personal podcast, me and a girlfriend, and that was not successful. We started talking about Taylor Swift, all of a sudden we got people's attention.
Oh, yeah.
So it's easy
She's
whenever
so
it's
popular.
a hobby. Yeah, and she's so successful. She tops herself every single time. So
Right.
it's nice to be a Paige fan.
Okay,
Yes.
so I have really researched Sweet Nothings.
That is such a great song.
It's a beautiful song.
That is such a great
I had
song.
no idea it was about, is it Colton Harris?
Calvin Harris.
Calvin Harris.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, Taylor does a really good job. She will never name who she's talking about in her music, but her fans know. So
Yes.
she releases enough details that everybody knows. And so Sweet Nothing is, well, actually about her song, her boyfriend, Joe Alwyn.
Right.
I can get way too deep. We're not getting, if you want to
Yeah.
know about
Right.
the song breakdown, go listen to 13, a Taylor Swift fan podcast.
It's beautiful, yeah.
Because it is really in-depth and passionate. We talk every episode breaking down the songs, and it's so great. Everybody's so into her that I cannot believe the easiness of my job. I get to look on Reddit and see what other people say and report it. Like, I'm not doing this investigating stuff myself, but
Yeah.
Swifties are hardcore investigators, so it's nice.
Oh,
Okay,
I love it.
so we were in the car the other day, and I was like, we went to eat, and because we were looking through all our footage, we're trying to go through this. We're new at this, okay? So
Right.
we're looking through our crap and trying to figure out what we're gonna do. Anyway, I was like, we need a break. Let's go eat. Let's go eat some tacos. There we go. So we go. On the way there, I'm like, girl, listen
Taylor
to this
Swift,
song.
here we go.
This is Taylor Swift, and you need to listen to this. This is you and what you're going through. And it was tell her what I told you to listen to.
That song?
The song.
Oh gosh, what was it?
It was the one about like you.
Oh, I can't remember.
Give me hints
There
and I
were
can
so
probably
many.
name. Let's go.
No, it was the one about like you talked behind my back and you weren't my real friend.
Bad Blood.
No,
No,
it was on the Lover album CD because I had it in my car playing on loop.
and it was a
And
great
it's
song.
not-
Number
nice
one,
to
it's
have a
song number
friend.
1 on Lover.
Oh, I forgot that you existed.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
That one was about Calvin Harris.
Okay,
Yes.
so I told her, I'm like, this is the song, and
Right.
you, and like,
And we do have a parallel, Taylor Swift and I, because there is a breakup that I have been going through, and
Yes.
I've continuously been going through for the last 7 years. And she nails it, right?
Every
her
song.
lyrics
Every
are
song.
so good and so clear, and it's like, you got me, girl. You got me.
tell us how you got started in radio.
Yes.
I got started in radio. I met someone. I had just moved here from Georgia, and I was taking a radio announcing class, and I didn't know anybody. I went out to a concert. Wanted to meet a rock star. I wanted to meet Metallica. They said, I can't give you Metallica. How about Linkin Park? And I was like, I guess.
Oh!
Yeah. So I begrudgingly met Linkin Park. But I met a guy from the morning show, and I kept in contact with him. And then next semester, I was like, hey, I need an internship. Can I hit you up? And he said, well, I'll set you up with an interview, but you've got to get the job yourself. And I went in, got the job, and then I had to turn around and beg my professor to go ahead and give me an internship class because I was still a freshman, and you're supposed to be a lot further along before then. But I was like, are you not going to let me take advantage of this opportunity just because I'm a freshman?
Okay, so what radio station was that?
97.1 The Eagle, with Grego and Brian, and this was right at the time of the Janet Jackson Super Bowl, whenever she exposed her nipple, which completely changed radio. So I went in, was supposed to get a job and be good to go after an internship. Towards the end of my internship, they were like, we can't save our own jobs, much less give you one. And then they let me go, and they flipped formats like a couple of weeks later. It was a really rough time during radio, though, because they came down really hard with FCC and everything. Even though it was a boob on TV, you want to come get back at radio and say, now you can't say, I don't want to say anything because I can't say it, but you can't say.
Sometimes negative press is good press.
Not in this case.
No, not in this case at all.
Everybody was so scared too with fines, so it was a difficult time.
So then what did you do?
Then I had bounced around from various radio stations for a little bit, ended up with another internship at 105.3 whenever it was a talk station, and then stayed there for a long time. Started working there.
Okay, so how did you end up with Kid Craddock?
I stayed around at 105.3 for a long time. I worked in talk radio, then it flipped to sports. I thought I was for sure gone once they flipped to sports because I don't know anything at all about sports and I can't fake it. I tried to watch sports. I tried to get into it. It's not. There's so much history and background that goes into sports. Like if you want to talk to somebody about the Dallas Cowboys, it still matters what they did 30 years ago, not what they've done in the past.
It's really true.
5 seasons.
It's really true.
Right.
So I never caught up to that level. They did keep me around though. And then I got an opportunity to go and interview with Kid Craddock, and I'm so glad that I got the job and I moved over there.
The one and only Kid Craddock. So how long were you there?
I was there for 13 years. I was fortunate enough to work with Kid for 3 years before he passed. Yeah.
Okay, so when I was in high school, that's who I listened to.
Everybody.
He was such a popular guy.
Like everybody.
Unfortunate how he had passed away, but man, to work underneath him.
So he really helped me a lot in my career because he made me become a perfectionist. Him to be so successful as he is, he became that way because he expected nothing but the best. And whenever I first started working for him, I was like, oh, I'm not allowed to make mistakes. That's kind of cruel. And then I realized, well, how did you become number one? It's because you're mad at me for not doing my job. I need to be able to do my job. So that just teaches you to not make mistakes.
Yeah.
Right.
So he
was running the show.
He really made me become a better worker because it made me realize you can't get upset in business like this. Somebody should be able to tell you if you're doing wrong or doing right, and you have to be able to take that and learn from your mistakes. You can't just have your emotions on your sleeves all the time.
Yeah.
You have to be able to take it, and especially when someone's right. And I was never, I loved that job so much. So I mean, I wasn't used to someone being as critical at first, and then I realized, oh well, you're critical because you're used to perfection, and that's why you're number one. That's why I went from local radio to syndicated radio. So I had to elevate my work ethics, but luckily because of him, I was able to.
We have an amazing guest with us tonight, and this is Hannah Cruz. Yay. She is a video creator, a Christian comedian, an influencer on Instagram and TikTok, and also the author of Dayspring. And we are so happy to have her here.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here. Y'all are so fun. This is great.
Okay, so I do Hannah's hair.
Yes.
So Hannah, tell them how we met.
We met because my husband had said, hey, if you want to get your hair done, there is this girl that has been doing my hair, and I think she has a crush on me. Did I ever tell you that story? He goes, I think this lady has a little bit of a crush on me. I was like, oh, really? Is that right? Is that right? He's like, yeah, but it's all right. She could be your mom's friend. She's not a threat. And I'm like, wait a minute. And then, of course, I show up because I'm like, I got to figure out who this chick is. I show up and I'm like, she's darling. Oh, my gosh. She's so cute. So that was actually my first introduction to you. But, yes, she's been doing my hair now for a very long time.
I love that.
And she does an amazing job. And I need to get it done because got some roots
still looks
going
good.
on up in here.
It still looks good.
Me too.
We're totally going to show a couple of your reels
Oh boy.
during this. Like
Yes.
before, after, maybe in the middle.
Let me tell you something. Hot rollers are anointed. Here's the first reason. The higher the hair, the closer to heaven. And that's just the doggone truth. You're not going to find favor with a flat iron. I mean, look, you're rolling up your hair like they rolled up them biblical scrolls back in the day. I prefer this over a curling iron because with a curling iron, iron sharpens iron. But with rollers, the stone was rolled away. So it's better. I'm just saying, rollers are probably Jesus's favorite. All right, time to take one down. I mean, look at that. So much body. To remind us that we're the body of Christ. So girl, you just jack that hair on up to Jesus, baby. And you go walk in the fullness of the Lord.
And she has 1 million followers, guys. 1 million followers.
Yeah, she's pretty popular.
Okay, she's super popular, but so because I've been following you for so long, I noticed a clear click when you decided to become a Christian influencer.
Yes.
And I noticed because I was like, oh, she's super focused and this is great. For one thing, you're so funny.
Oh,
like I laugh out loud every time I see one of your reels.
Thank you.
But what was it that clicked for you that made you like think that, okay, this is what I need to do?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty controversial. Are we okay to talk about
Oh
controversial
yeah, for
stuff
sure.
here?
Yes,
yeah.
absolutely.
We want to be controversial. We
Yeah.
want people talking about us.
It's pretty wild. I mean, yeah, like I started the platform pretty much right after my son was born, but it was just like a kind of a compilation of health and beauty and mom
Yeah.
life and marriage, and it
Yeah.
was just like a bunch of stuff. But then
All good.
all good stuff,
All
and it was
good.
fun, and it was,
Right.
you know, and then I think the following kind of shelved at around like 42,000 or something like that, which is great, and I was so happy with that and blessed. But I've always loved video, and I've loved creating, and I've loved just kind of putting things together. And so I knew this was something that I wanted to pursue, like career-wise, or just to kind of, you know, see what the Lord wanted to do with that.
So did you start off doing reels?
I did regular posts and writing and that kind of
Okay.
thing, but when reels kicked in, I was like, oh, I'm all about that, man. And so I just like started really creating the reels and doing all the videos and stuff. But whenever Roe versus Wade was overturned, obviously the nation was in an uproar.
Yes.
People were really upset. But then the other half of the country was like, oh my gosh, like this is wonderful. Millions of babies are going to be saved. And obviously I share that same viewpoint. And so whenever that happened, you know that song, I don't care what you say anymore.
Yes.
This is my life.
Right.
So that song was like,
I sing that every day.
I know, well, yeah, I know. But that song was like kind of playing in my head one day. And then whenever Roe versus Wade was overturned, I'm like, oh my gosh, that'd be so funny if like I just did a video from a baby's perspective that says, I don't care what you say anymore, this is my life. And I kind of like put the two together and did like this humorous reel, but that was also kind of saying, thank you, Lord, that millions of babies are going to be saved now that this has been overturned. And so when I did, I got tons of hate from it, like tons. And I hadn't really focused on the Christian aspect of stuff just yet, but that was kind of the catapult to making my account solely Christian humor or faith-based stuff or truth stuff or that kind of thing. And so it was real bad, y'all. Like it was real bad.
Because you had so much criticism.
Oh boy!
and-
Not only the comment section, but in my own private DMs, I would get death threats, threats on my children, threats
Oh my
on
gosh.
my life, threats. I mean, it was really bad.
So you got personal mail that was crazy.
And that's the next part that was really the kicker. So I get
So you have a
packages
PO
sometimes.
box for all that stuff or no?
I mean, no, it just came to my house.
Coming to your house.
I mean, but see, like I'll work with brands and stuff, so I get packages all the time,
Right.
and sometimes I forget what I,
So how do you
partnered
weed
with.
that all out?
Well, I mean, most times I just, I know who the brand is and I give them my address. But this particular day, I go to the mail and it's this really cute package and it's got like, flowers on it and it's really cute. And I'm like, I don't really remember what this was for, but I'm just gonna open it. So I open it and it's this pretty little, glitter stuff on the inside. And then I opened the second part of the package and it was a piece of chocolate but it was a chocolate wiener, and it said "Eat a D"
Oh.
on it, and I was
Wow.
like, "Ooh," and like my stomach just dropped.
Yes.
Somebody put a lot of effort into that
Yes.
to make their point.
Yes.
Apparently, it's actually really easy to find someone's address, and I just did not know that. And it just like put such a pit in my stomach that I was just like, oh my gosh, people know where I live. Like this is crazy. All these death threats, like my children. So I was freaking out.
Right.
But I said, okay, Lord, I know that you're going to cover me with the blood of Jesus. My family is protected. I'm not going to worry about this. This was just some troll that was just being ridiculous. Well, anyway, I ended up going on my stories and I said, listen, guys, my fear of losing because I lost like thousands of followers. I was like, my fear of losing followers or what y'all could do to me is nothing compared to my fear of the Lord. And that is my number one. So y'all can say whatever or do whatever to me. I'm not going to worry about it. And I'm going to keep walking in joy and I'm going to keep speaking truth. And I'm just going to continue to do whatever I can to please the Lord. And so right whenever that happened, and I posted another video about it, I mean, the very followers that had left and all the people that were so hateful, I mean, thousands upon thousands were taking their place and coming in droves. And it went from like 42,000 to like 100,000 like that. It was crazy. It was wild. And it was
That's
all
empowering.
just one act of obedience on my part
Yeah.
because I really felt like I needed to say something about this. And so when I did, it was scary, but yet God blessed it at the same
Right.
time. So it was really interesting.
You were on the right path.
Yeah, I think so.
And you knew it.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, there is one miracle that nobody actually talks about from the Bible, and that's the one where Jesus had 12 besties in his 30s.
Okay, well, hello. I'm Angela.
I'm Christine.
Welcome to Haircolor Confessional. We have someone with us today, Miss Maddie Oss, and she's a senior getting ready to head off to her first year of college. She's 18 years old, and she's one of the youngest race car drivers to compete in several SCCA events, and is in her second pro racing season. Welcome, Maddie.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Oh, we're so excited to have you. And of course, I have a million questions.
Yes, she does have a million questions.
Okay, so explain to us what a F4 is.
Okay, so an F4 is a type of open wheel car. So if you've ever seen like Drive to Survive on Netflix, Formula One, it's basically one of those. It's on a ladder system for it. So it's like the entry level open wheel that you get into and start racing. A lot of people, when they come out of go-karts, that's what they get into as a first car to start racing.
Okay, so silly question. How do you get in there?
So there's no doors or anything. It's just an open cockpit. There's no halos yet on those, which you can see on the newer cars that obstruct the front. But on those, I personally like to get in from the right side. But you kind of just jump in and slide down into your seat, and then you'll slide down into the tub.
So tell me, what was your very first race?
So my very first race was at a track called Hallett in Oklahoma. And I did that the summer of 2021. Okay. And it was in the F4 car, just a little sports car, Club of America race, SCCA. And I did it in what they call an FX category. So it's not a spec class. It's not just one type of car. So you go against Formula Mazdas, which is another type of open wheel that you'd race.
Okay. All right, so how many races have you done in this year and a half that you've been racing?
I honestly don't know the exact number, to be honest.
Too many to count?
Yeah.
Too many to count. I've been trying to get as many in as I can, just get a lot of experience under my belt.
Awesome.
Okay, and you go all over the United States?
Yep. We've been in California, all the way up to New Jersey. Anywhere that there's a race, I'll try to go.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what's the biggest race you've ever competed in? Like the most popular or
The
biggest?
most popular, so Circuit of the Americas in Austin is a
Okay.
very popular track, and so there'll be a lot of people out there a lot of the time.
And you're doing that when?
So
it's coming
COTA,
up, right?
yeah. So I'll be doing that with a different series, not in the Formula car, but I'll do that not this weekend, but the next out there. Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's
awesome.
All right, so tell us what kind of car that you race like right now.
So right now I am in a M2 BMW Cup car.
It's pretty hot.
Yeah.
Oh my
it's
gosh.
fun.
How
She's
much fun.
Yeah, so that is a part of the TCX class in TC America. So we run that car and it runs against the Honda as well.
Okay, and
Yeah.
tell me how fast it goes.
Honestly, I've never looked down at the top speed while I'm going. I'm usually like very preoccupied with like everything else.
But they track that though.
They get.
What's the fastest you've gone?
I'm not sure. I'm definitely over 120 for sure. I'm not exactly sure on.
Oh, I was thinking like
speed.
200 or something.
No, I wish. Yeah.
But I guess since you're going in a circle, you can't go
because you're
as fast as
braking and
straight.
accelerating. So the time you're hitting like the exact top speed of the car usually doesn't happen. You're usually like having to go hard into a braking zone or something like that. Yeah.
So punch it, brake, punch it, brake, punch it, brake. Yeah.
My steering would be vibrating in my car.
That's how I drive all the time. Punch it, brake, punch it, brake. Okay, so I have a question. Have you ever had a scary moment while you were racing?
I've had a couple. I've wrecked a couple times, but I feel like that's part of the learning process.
Yeah.
Happens. Personally, probably my scariest one was we were at Road America, which is a pretty high-speed track. It's very long. But they have this back section where you go through this corner flat. So you're in 5th gear, which is pretty high up on your gearing. You only have 6. And you take the corner flat, you just hold through it. And what I didn't know before this was that after it's rained, even if the track's kind of dry, the paint is normally pretty wet. And I made it through the corner, but while I was tracking out, I touched a little bit of wet, and I was spinning down the whole straightaway.
Oh my goodness!
Oh my gosh! And I was like, oh my goodness, that's not what I was expecting.
So just spinning.
Yeah, because once you hit water and like the tire has no grip, it's usually pretty hard to keep it in control.
Oh my goodness!
At least from my experience.
Yeah, yeah, that would be scary.
Because you're totally out of control, trying to maneuver it.
Yeah, a lot of times you'll see drivers, like if you see any onboard, they just let go and they cross their chest. They're like, okay, I'm along for the ride now. Yeah.
Well, yeah, because your car just has to go and finish.
Yeah.
And it's better to not try to oversteer.
Yeah. If you can catch it, go for it. But sometimes a lot of drivers know when they're at the point that it's just not worth saving. Yeah.
Mr. Rob Redline. Super excited.
Hello, ladies. How are you?
You're doing great. Good. So we have so many things to ask you.
Sure.
All right. So, what inspires you about being a musician / songwriter / author?
You know, it's funny because that's a good question because I just recorded my show just a few minutes ago. Now I'm recording y'all's show, and y'all are on my set, and I will be on y'all's set the next time.
Yeah.
By the way, Haircolor Confessionals. But we are on my set right now, and I just recorded with Mr. Tommy Alverson, and it's absolutely one of those things where it's inspiring to. Everything in the world is inspiring. That's why my show is called The Muse, because the muse is about something that the definition of a muse is something that inspires you to write something or create something, which this show originally was about music, but now it's expanding into a lot more food and culture and comedy and art and everything else.
Okay, so I'm curious, how many different instruments can you play?
Yeah, somebody asked me that yesterday, actually, and I believe I counted 7. So obviously guitar, harmonica, those are my 2 main ones. I have 2 banjos at home that I can pluck away on, but I've never played them on stage, so it's I want to, I just haven't gotten good enough to write a song yet with banjo, but I really want to. Piano, there was one song on my 5th record that is this extremely depressing song called Dante. It's about a former girlfriend of mine that moved away. It's the last song that I ever wrote about her. I wrote several songs about her, but when she moved away to Georgia, I wrote this song called Dante, and it's the Dante's Inferno, that whole layers of purgatory and everything else. Everything in the song is that kind of Dante's Inferno, like references and everything else. So it's really depressing and sad. But I played this song on piano, this 3-chord song, dun, 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 dun. And then my producer just put that on repeat throughout the song, and then the rest of the band came in and recorded the rest of it. And it turned out to be a good song in the fact that it got picked up to be on this documentary movie like 4 years ago. And I was like, yeah, that's cool.
awesome.
You know.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, you listen to the song, you're like, golly, this is depressing as hell.
Right. It seems like the best songs are the most depressing.
Yeah.
I mean, they're about drunks or about
Yeah.
losing their woman or they're about to die.
Well, so tell us about your Vegas trip. What was your favorite thing there?
Man.
Okay, so you were going out there for a gig on New Year's Eve?
No, this is one of the first times I've not gone out there for a gig, actually. I played it at the Double Down Saloon several times. And it played back in the day when Randy Brown was playing these yearly NFR gigs at Mandalay Bay. I played with Randy one night. But anyway, no, this one was me and my sister, and she was flying out of West Texas, but she got caught up in the Southwest Airlines thing.
Oh, yeah.
And so she had to cancel her trip. Well, my flight on American was non-refundable, so I was going to
Gotta go?
I gotta go. It's
Gotta
like,
go to
and it's
Vegas for New
Vegas.
Year's.
Like, come on. I mean, come on. I've been to Vegas 34 times. I know Vegas like the back of my hand,
There you
but
go.
I've never been on New Year's Eve, which was
It's pretty
a
wild.
nightmare.
Over the top?
Yeah.
Well, they got fireworks going on.
Well, they always
got
have fireworks, I think.
No.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
but for New Year's Eve, they go over.
Big time.
Big
yeah,
time.
big time. And there's so many different places to see the fireworks. I'm a downtown guy. I'm an old school
Oh.
Vegas guy.
Gold Nugget.
Golden
Yes,
Nugget,
Golden
my favorite hotel. And Golden Gate is my favorite hotel to gamble in.
Okay. Are you a big gambler or are you a show guy?
I am a big gambler and obviously a drinker and a foodie.
Cheers to that.
So,
Woo!
yes,
Cheers.
absolutely.
Okay, let's take a drink.
So that's the thing. And so I had this crazy, like obviously there's 400,000 people down there in Vegas, and so I told my sister to cancel her hotel, which was at Golden Nugget, by the way.
It's a legend.
So that she could get her money back on that, and I would just find a hotel. Well, I found this little boutique hotel, and this little boutique hotel thing was right off Fremont Street, like a block off Fremont Street.
Okay.
It's super cool. I have nothing bad to say about that place. Actually, it was the
I hope you're not
Gold
gonna-
Spike.
Oh,
Gold
okay.
Spike. Gold Spike. That's what it was. There's no casino there. It's just.
Oh,
It's
wow.
just a hotel, just a boutique hotel,
With a bar.
really old school kind of boutique
I
style.
love boutique hotels.
But I do too. I do
Wow.
too. And so the thing, so the bar itself was, they were having a big New Year's Eve party. It was kind of a club.
Okay.
It was like a weekend on the weekends at the club because they had all the lighting and all that kind of
So
thing.
wait, you
So
didn't have already plans for New Year's Eve? You're just winging it.
yeah, well, she and I were just going to go out there and just find something to do.
Okay.
So Fremont Street itself was shut down on New Year's Eve.
And you're by yourself because your sister didn't go.
I'm by
So
myself.
you're just by yourself,
I'm just partying, man.
roaming the streets.
And I'm losing money. I'm hemorrhaging money, by the way, in the casinos. I'm hemorrhaging money. I would usually set aside about $1,000 to go out there. And
You play
just-
blackjack, slots.
Yeah, I'm not a
What do
big
you do?
blackjack fan. It's kind of boring.
More slots.
3-card poker, 100%, and then the Buffalo Gold, the slots, and then
Okay.
yeah, and I'll run up on a craps table or a roulette table here and there, and
Do your eyes glaze over and you're like ding 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 ding?
depending on how hot the dealer is, actually, that was a good joke. You just didn't even hear that.
Oh, we heard it.
No, so I'm hemorrhaging money. I'm kind of, upset. And then the night before New Year's Eve happens, I'm coming out of a casino. I actually won a little bit of money, like $500 back.
All
So I'm
right.
not cruising.
Got a lucky streak.
Cruising down the street, but they're shutting down the street the night before New Year's Eve as well. And there's a dude that gets tased right in front of me.
Wow.
If you've never seen that before, it's
No.
like in person.
Never.
Because I've watched all the Jackass movies. Obviously, I've seen this a million
Yeah.
times. Like I love Jackass, but when it's right in front of you,
So there's just Plop down like a
Yeah,
like a
it's
cold fish.
big old dude too. And there was three cops that popped a guy, and wow, man, it was intense. And so I had already known that my trip was cursed out there from one, my sister Audra not being able to go. Two, I get into the airport, go through TSA, lose my brand new pair of $250 Ray-Ban sunglasses in TSA when the bag went through the thing.
Yeah.
They never came out the other side, and they were
said,
on my
"Hey."
head because the girl actually, when she asked me for my ID, she goes, "Can you pull up your sunglasses?" I'm like, "Oh crap, sorry," and then I pulled them up, and then I just tossed them into the box thing.
Okay, so
Somebody
rule
at
of thumb:
TSA has it.
don't bring your expensive sunglasses on a vacation.
Well, obviously, I'm like, man, I'm coming out.
He's got to look fancy in Vegas.
I know.
So here's the thing. So New Year's Eve comes around, and my sister and I had a plan to dress to the nines, 1970s style. So she had
I love it.
these sequin bell-bottom pants, and I had these corduroy bell-bottom pants that matched this jacket, which I'm wearing right now. And so
And now you got to rock the 70s all on your own.
I got to rock the 70s on my own. And so I'm walking out of my hotel at noon on New Year's Eve to go party on Fremont Street before they shut down the street
Right.
for the concerts and everything else, right? So I'm I'm out on the street, and I went to Golden Nugget, and on a Saturday morning, Saturday at noon, I guess, they had $5 3-card poker table. I'm like, I'm in. And I went and sat down. Boom. I was rocking for 3 hours, got up like $800. I'm like, I'm back in the game now. and then I hit Golden Gate for a little while and got up. So I was coming home with like $1,600
Wow.
in my wallet.
Okay.
First time
Taking
ever.
yourself out of the hole.
First time ever I've come back
Cash
from
in the
Vegas
pocket.
with money. And so later that evening, I get off Fremont Street. I go back to my hotel because I know they're having a big party there. And they're like, you get in free because you're staying at the hotel. And so I get in there, and sure enough, it's 1970s in there. And I'm like, oh, I'm having a time. I don't know anybody, but the bartenders are cool. So I'm like, let's go. Blah, blah, blah. So these bell bottoms that I'm wearing have these really shallow pockets in them. And my wallet is always here on this side. Was kind of just, its head was sticking out. And right around midnight, right around the toast, I got pickpocketed. And
Because some pretty girls came around you and were like, hey.
at that point, I don't remember anybody.
Because he was drinking from like noon all the way to midnight.
It's Vegas. That's what you're supposed to do.
He was shit faced.
Right?
Come on.
I mean, Jesus. So,
having a good time.
So, I'm just having, and then the ball drops, and then apparently the wallet drops as well. It didn't drop, but it went somewhere because I'm like, there's no way that this just happened. And I don't know, this is the most bizarre
and there's 20
thing.
million people out there. I'm just going to say, I've been there once, and it is packed like sardines.
New Year's Eve, I'll never go back for New Year's Eve. I'll go back all the time because I love that town, but not for New Year's Eve ever again.
I mean, you can't walk around. The streets are shut down.
Yeah, exactly. And so I luckily had my room key in my other pocket. And so at that point, I'm like, well, I'm just going to do the walk of shame back up to the room, go to sleep. I did. I wake up the next morning. Wake up the next morning, and I'm like, oh no, this is bad because I've got to go to the hotel or the airport today.
You have no license, no money, no wallet, no nothing, no credit cards,
Nothing.
But hotel.
However, Rob's brain kicked in right there because I'm like, my flight is at 7:00 tonight. Like, how am I going to survive? I'm borderline diabetic. Like, I need something in my gut.
Like, get on your phone and sell me some money.
Luckily, my brain kicked in and went, oh crap! You can still Uber Eats right now because you can Uber to the airport.
Oh yeah.
I Uber ate my Uber. Was that the proper terminology of Uber eating? Uber ate. Uber ate myself. I Uber ate myself.
Everything's on your cell phone.
40 chicken McNuggets from McDonald's.
There you go.
40. Okay, so here's the thing. So this is a planning thing. So I ate the 10 in the hotel, and then I stuffed the other 30 in my bag so that I could walk around the airport and at least have something to munch on. Because I don't have a dime to my name.
Well, and those things will last forever.
Right.
Honestly.
Are you a sweet?
I could eat those 2 days from now.
So are you a sweet and sour guy or are you a ranch guy?
I was a no condiment whatsoever guy at that point. It was like, just stuff them in the bag and let's go.
It's like putting tater tots in your pocket.
You could have held up a sign and said, "We'll work for food."
Yeah.
We'll sing
That
for
would
food.
probably be a thing, yeah.
If you
fact,
could sing.
If you don't Uber Eats to the airport, that would be a different thing. But anyway, so like,
You can sing your way
I get there, and I get my plane ticket at the terminal thing because I just needed to type in my number, whatever else.
Right.
And I knew my number. Thank God, it was on my phone. So typing my number, now I've got my plane ticket. Now at least I can, at least I know I can get to a plane if I can get through TSA.
Right. And how do you get through security with no identity?
Oh my God! So I got there. They're like, "No, you can't. Obviously, go see that guy right there." I went and saw that guy. He pulls me back into this interrogation room.
Right.
And then,
who are
he's
you?
like, "Do you have anything with your name on it?" I'm like,
They stole my wallet.
"Yeah, like I
Do you have your cell phone?
And then all but
Social
he's like,
media.
"We can't do
Social
cell phone
media.
because you can spoof anything on it." So
some Apple
they can't do
Pay
that.
and
Yeah. But the
Work.
one thing I realized was like, I've got a pill bottle in my bag with my name on it. He's like, "Pull it out."
There you go.
Pull that out. He's like, "Okay, cool.
They got
Now we can call
prescriptions.
Washington, D.C. because if I didn't have anything with my name on it,
right.
so we call Washington, D.C. Now I'm on the phone with Washington, D.C. in an interrogation room for an hour.
Wow.
And they're asking me all kinds of questions. And it's like, "Get it, Lord, like this is." They call my
like a scene
dad.
from a
Like,
movie.
it's insane. So they finally get me through there, but they have to pat me down. They have to check my bag. In which case, they pull out the bag and they pull out 30 packs of chicken McNuggets. He's like, "What's Oh, I get what you're doing. Okay, good. Yeah, I get it. You don't have any money.
Right.
Yeah, bro.
I gotta make my chicken nuggets
I gotta at
last
least
all day.
eat, And I knew the airport had a water fountain. Thank God that thing saved my life.
Right, because you can't bring liquids through.
Exactly.
TSA.
Yeah. So I finally get through. Now I got to spend like 7 hours in the airport. I just walk around the
Oh
entire
my gosh!
time
But at least
with my
you
headphones in.
got
like,
through.
Yeah, and
At least you
thank
got
God I
through.
got home. Well, so fast forward. So weeks later, after New Year's Eve, I get a message. Excuse me, a envelope from the Las Vegas Police Department,
Whoa!
and they say, "We found your wallet in the back of one of our squad cars." But
What?
what?
Somebody stole it, got picked up, and dropped it off.
No, they were in the back seat.
They were
Yes,
locked
seat,
up.
right.
I think they were locked
And the
up
wallet
dropped it
and
off.
tried to like
They
stuff
dropped
it
it off.
into the
Yeah.
seat or whatever
Yes,
else.
they dropped it off.
Apparently,
That's awesome.
apparently that guy had a much worse life
Okay,
than I
so
did.
what
I
was
guess.
in the wallet? Anything?
No money,
No.
but every single driver's license, credit card,
That's
everything.
great.
Is
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh! Kudos for you.
I don't have to go to the DMV, man. I just got it back like
Oh my
3
gosh.
days ago.
Okay, so tell us about your products that you got from Florida.
Okay, so Tarpon Springs. You guys know what this is? Looks like a foot long, right? Maybe even longer. Maybe a yardstick.
Show us how you use that, Christine.
Okay, so this is it. I got this for $11.99, and it's a loofah. Okay, so you get it wet and you cut it where you make it wet, and you just like saw it. So I could have bought 2 of these little tiny ones for like 2 for $11, but then I saw this yardstick, and I was like,
Christine's like bigger, better.
the
Bigger, the better.
right? But how am I going to get this on the plane? Because I just did carry on, so yeah, I had to put it in a suitcase.
Did
I was
you?
too scared. Yes, because even when I went through security with my sand,
They were like, "What
they
is
thought,
that?"
What did you bring? And I'm like, what do you do with sand? And they were like, yeah. So they had to put some like blue kind of ink, to make sure that it was legit sand. But anyways, so I was kind of scared to like take this away from me. So
are you going to cut that up or no?
yes,
Okay.
absolutely. Although, I mean, you can use it as a back scratcher. You could use it, you know, all kinds of weird things. But we won't get into that because, you know, it's happy hour, right? But anyway, so I might even share this with my friends. I might just have to give you some and give
Little gift
you
of
know,
cut it up.
Yeah, and you know, she told me, she's like, get it wet and then cut it right there, and then get it wet and cut it right there, and I'm like, this is a pretty cool thing to have. All right.